Welcome to part 3 of our 2022 Western States Tour. In this episode, we travel down from East Glacier National Park to Freezeout Lake and end up in Mammoth Hot Springs in Yellowstone. We left Glacier due to a snowstorm that was moving in. Since we left earlier than planned, we had a few extra days to kill, and Freezeout Lake sounded like a great spot to spend that time. Despite the name, it was going to be considerably warmer there. The lake is a landing point for waterfowl during migration, sometimes in huge numbers. Apparently, snow geese travel all the way from California on a 1,000-mile flight. Freezeout Lake has a few dozen dry camping spaces on it, which are free, and when we were there, it was absolutely empty. I made a trip into the small town of Fairfield to replenish supplies. The town looked nice, and I would have liked to visit longer, but I had other things to tend to. Dan followed along with a drone. This stop provided us a nice place to rest up and get prepared for the remainder of our trip. We had reservations at Mammoth Campground in Yellowstone, so we headed down there after a few days. The rolling hills through this part of the drive, on the 89 to the 200 to the 287, then down to Wolf Creek, was so picturesque and peaceful. We grabbed gas in Helena before heading down the 15 towards Wyoming. Parts of the highways were under construction, which essentially meant we were towing our trailer down a dirt road. Driving through Livingston, I was reminded of an old Jimmy Buffett song. We fueled up just north of Gardner, and Dan got a chance to put the drone up. Such pretty scenery. Yellowstone was quite different than it had been just a few weeks earlier. We noticed the rivers were flowing much faster and were brown from the mud that was washing into them, presumably from the snowmelt. Little did we know that the whole area would be flooded within the next few weeks. We camped in Mammoth Campground, Site 57, which was right next to the camp host, and suited us just fine. I'll put a link in the description to our 360-degree virtual tour of the campground in case you are interested. Being on the north side of Yellowstone afforded us an opportunity to see Lamar Valley, Mammoth Hot Springs, and other scenery that we didn't visit when we were in West Yellowstone a few weeks earlier. We drove all the way to the northeast entrance and back, looking for wildlife opportunities. We encountered a few. Of course, bison are legendary in Yellowstone, and we saw our share. Each entrance to Yellowstone has distinct characteristics which set it apart from the others. Young bison are just so cute, and the herd watches over them closely. Most of the time, at least. The Mammoth Hot Springs area was very interesting. we enjoyed walking around there. What trip to Yellowstone would be complete without a visit to the Roosevelt Arch? After a few days, it was time to pack up and head south through the park on our way to Grand Teton and Jackson. We asked the ranger where we could dump our tanks, and he told us we could use the dump station at Madison Campground, which was on our way. As we made our way to the southern end of the park, the snow got quite a bit heavier, and there was a good amount more on the ground as well. Alas, it was time to say goodbye to Yellowstone. This was a great visit, and getting here early in the season was a great choice for seeing wildlife and also not having too many other tourists around. Stay tuned for part 4 of this trip, Grand Teton National Park, Jackson, and Lander, Wyoming. If you like this video, consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this.